hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I put together 20 of my favorite coastal Halloween Dollar Tree DIYs for you. Everything's Halloween, but all of it has a little bit of touch of coastal, which you guys know that I love. Now there's a big trend right now of thrifting beach scenes and painting ghosts on them and creepy Halloween things. So I wanted to see if we could do it, but do it with supplies from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use a Dollar Tree beach canvas. I don't really need the hanger on the back, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop that off. I can reuse that later. And it is almost the right size to go in one of these square Dollar Tree frames. And we're going to modify that a little later, but that's going to be the back of our sign. Now for the ghost and the bat, I want to do a bat too. I'm going to use some of the Dollar Tree rub-on transfers. I think they're kind of small, but for a small canvas like this, I think they're going to be the perfect size. So they have two of the little sheet ghosts that are so popular with this trend. And they are different sizes, but I can just have one be a little closer than the other one. And I think that will work. I also wanted to do a little bat flying in the sky. And the bats on this rub-on transfers were a little bit big. I thought about just painting them on, but I decided to just use the smallest one and just do one. So if you haven't used these rub-on transfers before, they are so easy. All you have to do is peel off the back and stick them to the canvas and scrape them on. Now, since it is a canvas, it doesn't have a back, so I thought I needed a solid surface to scrape on. So I just took a couple pieces of Dollar Tree craft wood and put behind it. I thought that would make it a little bit easier. So just peel and stick our first little ghost here on the beach. And then I'm just using the little Cricut scraper from the Dollar Tree to scrape it on. Make sure it's down before you pull it up because you can always lay it back down and finish scraping it on. So I'm going to do the second ghost a little farther away. Maybe that can explain why he's a little bit smaller. And scraped him on as well. So cute. I'm going to do the same thing with a little bat flying in the sky. And if you aren't able to find a beach scene at the Dollar Tree, they do have some creepier kind of beach scenes right now. I got one there today at Dollar Tree. It's so easy to create a beach scene, and we're going to be doing that a couple times today with kind of a more abstract beach scene. But look how beautiful that looks. That painting from the Dollar Tree is textured with the waves and stuff too, which makes it look a little bit more high-end. Now, the hanger that came on the sign, not a fan of, so I'm going to replace it. I'm just going to take some Dollar Tree twine, feed it in from the back, tie knots on the front. Now, I am going to do an additional frame on this, so it will cover this up anyway, so I wanted to go ahead and get that step done now. Now, to attach the canvas to the picture frame, I'm just going to hot glue it on. I think that's going to be fine. So I just leave it on its existing board, makes the DIY even easier. And we are just going to put hot glue here on all four sides. And then just lay it in that frame. There is a little gap on each side, so I just try to center it in there the best that I can. Now for the frame, to fill in that gap and to make it look extra beachy and coastal, I'm going to use some driftwood. The driftwood that I'm going to use is this Target brand vase filler. Unfortunately, the last time I was in Target, it looks like they may have discontinued this one, but I love it because it was very uniform and flat, but probably basically wherever you can find some driftwood, including, I guess, the beach. But the great thing about this is that it's clean, it's ready to go to craft with, and I love using it for DIYs. Now, the frame is not real big, and I'm going to try to cover up, all the gap and build a frame. So I want it to be irregular and everything like that, but I also need to kind of make it fit. So I don't want a huge overlap. So it's kind of like just putting together a puzzle. You kind of have to, work until you find the perfect piece. And if you can't find one small enough like that, I just use my miter scissors to cut one of them down. But Otherwise, I think I was able to do the rest of it without cutting anything. Now, some of them were a little too skinny to cover the gap, but then they had these real skinny pieces that you could also go in and cover it up. And I'm so glad I did this for the frame. It makes it look so good, and it really makes it look intentional. And I really love this DIY. I might have to go to the thrift store and actually find like an ocean, like a large ocean painting to paint ghosts and stuff on, because I love that. I think it's so funny. So I just keep going around all four sides, just piecing together different pieces until a pattern that I think kind of looks good. Again, it's supposed to look kind of crazy because it's driftwood, of course. And the only thing I don't like about this driftwood is that it is a little bit light in color. And sometimes that works for me, but sometimes I want it to look a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to show you how I change the color of mine, but I wanted to go ahead and get everything built first. I just kind of add a few more pieces just to kind of level out some areas and fill up anything that needs a gap. And then just use my heat gun to try to clean up any excess hot glue. And it's looking super cute already, right? Now, I don't want to stain it too dark. I just want to stain it like a little bit. And so to do that, I am going to mix together some Antique Wax by Waverly and water. So mostly water. And then I'm just using my little chunky brush from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to do a light stain. And since this is so watered down, you really don't have to worry about getting it on the painting. You can just wipe it right off. It's not going to discolor it or mess anything up. But I just wanted a very soft stain. So after that, I just kind of dry it off with a paper towel. And we have our little ghost and bat at the beach in a driftwood frame. Everything was from Dollar Tree, and I think it turned out so cute. What do you guys think about this? This is how it turned out. The little bat is super cute. He has a little face too, flying in the sky above the ocean. And then we have our two little ghosts. And I like that you can kind of see through them a little bit like a real ghost because you can kind of see the ocean behind them. I absolutely love how this turned out. It is definitely one of my favorite Halloween DIYs. I picked up two of these little coffin signs from the Dollar Tree. One kind of has a border and one doesn't. And we're going to put them together and make like a 3D coffin that's going to kind of stand up on its own. So the first thing I have to do is just cut out whatever's in the middle. Mine had jack-o'-lanterns, and this wood from the Dollar Tree is pretty thin. So if you cut it enough times with like a razor blade, you can get that to pop out, give you a little bit of a custom cut. You might end up with a little bit of a wavy line, but you can always touch that up a little bit. I sanded mine down as well to make it look a little bit better. And then I don't really need the hole in the front of it either, so I fill that in with a little bit of spackle. Now I want my coffin to be blue, so I'm using Caribbean blue, acrylic, and a makeup sponge just to paint that blue. And I want to have like a really cool like mummy inside of a coffin feel, but I want to go with that black and white and blue color scheme as well. So for the back of the coffin, I'm going to use this piece. It's a little bit more solid than the other piece, but you could probably get it to work if you had even the same piece. Because basically we're just going to cover the back of it with black. I thought black fabric would be cool, and so I picked up some black fabric from Dollar Tree to kind of cover the back of it. I just used a white chalk pencil. I actually got that at Dollar Tree too, to sketch that out on the black fabric so I can cut that down to size. Now, there is writing on the back of the sign, so once I Mod Podge this down, you can still kind of see that design through it. I was hoping that it would cover it. Maybe if you were to use like black poster board or cardstock or something like that, you might get a little bit better coverage than the fabric, but I kind of thought the fabric would be fun in the bottom of the coffin. See how you can still kind of see the writing through there because of course it's got the cutouts. So I decide to use some black poster board to kind of fix that. So I just sketched that out. And you can see I was cutting out some mermaid witches for a tier tray with that. And I just glued that on the back of it to give me a more black surface. And that seemed to help a little bit. Then I'm just going to seal it on with more Mod Podge over the top because I kind of like that feel better than the fabric. Because I don't want you to be able to read through it. I want it to look like, solid wood. Now, to make the little mummies, we're going to use popsicle sticks. These are the super jumbo ones that I got at Walmart. But you could always do this with Dollar Tree ones too. You're probably just going to need a little bit more popsicle sticks. And I just start cutting them out, going a little bit larger each time to try to make like a mummy body, like laying in the little coffin, and then kind of shrink it up and arch it for the head. I also wanted to have like little arms, like crisscrossed here. And so I do that with little popsicle sticks as well. Just cutting everything with scissors, sanding them if necessary. And then it's just a matter of painting these and kind of putting this all together. Whenever I paint like thin wood products like this, popsicle sticks, Dollar Tree wood, I love using a makeup sponge for this. It works so well. You don't use very much paint and you don't get very much on the sides and back and stuff like that. So I think that looks pretty good. We can then start putting our little guy together. I wanted this to be a little 3D in nature because I'm going to put the coffin together like that. So I'm going to use some of those little wood cubes from the Dollar Tree to make all the little pieces of the mummy stick up. And I just hot glue those onto the back of our little popsicle sticks, painted ivory, and then glue those to it, leaving like some spaces behind it. For the eyes, I decided to make a little gap like that where I could go in and cut down some more of that Dollar Tree black poster board to be behind it that we could actually add some eyes to. I just do that with a white paint pen, just putting a couple of dots on there and then using a glue stick to kind of glue that back under them so the little mummy eyes are peeking out. I found that hot glue worked a little bit better for that. And then we're going to continue that mummy design by hot gluing the little cubes to the back of the popsicle sticks, kind of alternating my gaps, like which direction they're going. I wanted it to appear like a wrapped mummy. And I think the popsicle sticks give you a great illusion of that. I'm going to repeat that all the way down here to the little feet here of our mummy. And then we just have the little crisscross arms that we cut down to kind of go across the body, and I just hot glue those directly on. Now we need to find sides for our little coffin because I want it to be all 3D and kind of stand on its own. For the sides, I thought the easiest thing that I had from the Dollar Tree that would work would be the little Dollar Tree wood rulers. So they come in a 2-pack. It's just a matter of cutting those down to size. I'm going to do it with like the little bump out part like inside. So the sides kind of have like a flat appearance. So I cut those 2 rulers down for each side there. And these are so easy to craft with because all you have to do is take the stickers off. I just took them over to my saw to cut those down. But you could probably do the same thing with popsicle sticks. But it's probably not going to be quite as thick and sturdy as mine turned out. So I got the rulers cut down for all the different pieces. Now it's just a matter of painting those. I want them to kind of blend in with the Caribbean blue that we did on the top part of the coffin. And so I just go ahead and paint all of those on the sides that are going to be pointing out. And the corners are going to be a little rough on these because I didn't like do any mitering or anything like that, but I think we can make it work. So I'm going to start with the bottom by hot gluing that onto our back coffin piece, the top and the bottom. And then you can just attach the top like that. I think that's going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and put all the rest of the sides on by hot gluing those to the edges, kind of lining them up as tight as I can in the corners. Now I'm going to kind of just sit the top part of it on that little ledge of the rulers. That works out perfectly and provides a great base for that. So I just do a bead of hot glue all along that part of each one of the rulers. So I can sit the little top of the coffin around the edges, sign right there. And I love the colors on this. I think it's so cute. I love the mummy theme. And I just touch it up with a little bit more paint because part of the ruler was exposed there. And as you can see, my corners aren't great, but I think it works pretty good for crafting. Here it is, our little mummy, ready for decorating. I'm going to stand it up straight upright on my cabinet for display. And this is how it turned out. I think it's so cute with the little eyes peeking out from behind. And I definitely love this color scheme. Okay, we're going to need one of the little plastic skulls from Dollar Tree, some of the little plastic bones, a little ship wheel from the Dollar Tree, and one of these little frames. I like these frames because they make a perfect base. You just have to kind of take off the little round frame that was on top of it. I just want the base. There are some nails kind of sticking out of it, so you better be careful with that if you take it apart like I do. Now, again, I'm going to use watered down Antique Wax by Waverly to stain my little ship wheel because I want a very light like driftwood stain on this. I'm also going to do the same very light stain wash here on the base of our stand. And then I just dry it like that, and it kind of took that stain, and that's basically all there is with that. So that is so easy to do. Now to decorate it, I'm going to use these little bones. You're going to need 8 of the long ones, 1 for each one of the handles of the ship wheel, and you're going to need 1 of these skulls. They come in like a little bag at the Dollar Tree of a whole bunch of them. Now, the only thing I don't like about Dollar Tree bones and Dollar Tree skulls is the color. I think they always look a little bit better if you paint them like an ivory color. This is the Antique Parchment by Apple Barrel. I get this at Walmart. I also have been getting the Apple Barrel paint at Amazon, so I have added them to my Amazon shop below. I've been able to get some of my favorite colors, like we're going to use today, like Cloudless and Antique Parchment for like 58 cents on Amazon with like free Prime shipping. So that is a great deal, and it saves me a trip to Walmart. So I kind of distress like the little eye sockets and the black parts of it as well. But then I wanted them to kind of look more brownish. So I just went back in there with like a bronze Sharpie and kind of changed the color on mine a little bit. But I just want to give it a nice ivory feel and kind of distress the little areas that we just bronzed as well. Now with the bones, I just kind of laid mine out, not realizing that they kind of have like a little joint on them that goes a specific direction. So you might want to take that into account because I'm only going to paint one side of these just to make it a little bit easier. But you're going to want to either have them all go the same way, or I ended up with 4 of each and it turned out perfectly, but I didn't really pay attention to that at the beginning. So I'm just using a small brush and going all over the bones with this Antique Parchment color. And I'm not going to paint the back just to save time. And then I just went back in with a second coat, but only if it needed it here and there, just to kind of cover up that plastic material that was underneath. And it just makes them look more high-end. You can see how different they look than the ones over there on the left that are still in the package. Now, once I have everything painted ivory, we can start putting this project together. First, we're going to do the little ship wheel here. This is how it looks with that very light stain on it. The skull is for the middle of the ship wheel. And then we're going to do a bone on each one of the handles. That's when I realized that some are left and some are right. I ended up with like half and half, and I tried to do like a pattern with mine like that. But upon looking at it, I think I may have messed up my pattern because I was trying to alternate, and I think I almost did that. I did that some of the way around, but I guess it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to hot glue one of the little bones to each one of these. Now the joints at the end go a little bit lower, so you could just glue those down. But if you do want to glue the bone down, which I did, you kind of have to push that plastic bone down in the middle so it can get contact with the ship wheel underneath. And I just do that on each side, going all the way down the handle so they only go to like the very beginning of the spokes there in the middle. This DIY was so easy to put together and it turned out so cute. It's very kind of classy, so I think it would really go with any kind of decor. I think it's going to go great with my coastal decor in my home. And I just burn off any excess hot glue, strings that we might have there. And then the little skull goes right here in this center section. Now, this wagon wheel is Shore Living, but most of my stores still have it because they don't normally sell out of this one, at least at my stores. Now, it is going to be a standing sign, and I realized I did get a little bit of stain on the back. So to make it look a little bit more presentable, I just went ahead and did that very light stain on the back as well, just to clean that up. And then I just hot glued the little base here to the ship wheel, trying to push the little nails like into the ship wheel to keep it sturdy. And I think mine was a little bit crooked, so I did try to straighten it out a little bit there. But I think this turned out so fun. I call this one Dead Men Tell No Tales. I think it looks nice and creepy, and I love a good pirate decor for Halloween. Definitely goes with like the coastal Halloween vibe, and this is how it turned out. I think that the skull and stuff like that just looks way creepier, and that like ivory color looks a little bit more realistic too.
And I've still been able to find those ship wheels in the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. For this DIY, I'm going to make like a glowing moon DIY.
So to do that, I'm going to use a couple items from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use a black candlestick, one of the little battery operated lights. They have like little lights inside of a little light bulb, and a Dollar Tree Christmas ornament. You could always use, they have like almost like a little snow globe right now in the Halloween section that would probably work the same for this. But basically, I just wanted these little battery operated twinkle lights in this to light up the little ornament to make it look like a Halloween moon. So I just have to try to figure out a way to put this all together. I'm not going to use the light bulb part at all. I just want to kind of sit the ornament on top of this where I can feed all the little lights in to make it glow inside. I don't really want it to be the gold color though, so I thought I would just paint it that Caribbean blue color. You're not going to be able to see very much of this in the final product, but you'll be able to see a little bit of it, so it's going to give it just a little bit of a blue accent. I tried to avoid the on-off switch there on the bottom and the battery, so I don't cause any problem with that. And then just trying to test for size, if the little ornament from the Dollar Tree is going to fit on there well. It doesn't fit on there perfectly, but I think we can still make it work. So I just take the little string lights and feed them inside the globe like that. And then to make it look like a little moon, I just take pillow fluff from an old pillow and fill it up to make it look all mottled like a moon. When you light it up at night, it's going to give you that same cool moon effect. And since it doesn't fit on there just perfectly, I just use hot glue to attach it instead, because they're basically about the same size. It does leave you with that gap if you're going to use a Christmas ornament like that, but I'm just going to use some Dollar Tree white rope to kind of fill that in, and that's going to go still with my blue, white, and black color scheme. This is the thicker white rope, but you could use either one, and I'm just going to start down there where the two come together. It's also going to help hold it together a little bit, and just hot glue this around to fill in that gap between the two pieces. And it's going to give it a fun coastal vibe as well. Now, I cut it off here. I was originally thinking that I was going to only add rope to this part, but I kind of wanted to fill it in more. So I did do a second row here where the rope goes all the way up along the side of the ornament. And I really liked how that looked, so I decided to do it on the bottom too, just to make it a little bit thicker down here. So avoiding the on-off switch so I can still turn it on and off, I just wrap some more around the bottom, filling up most of it with a little bit of the blue trim still visible. As you can see, I kept kind of adding to it until I was happy with it. And I just wanted it to be a cool like rope base, that I can then put on the little candlestick to hold it up. So I just want to make sure this works. So I'm just going to sit it like on the candlestick. I can't glue it to it because then I wouldn't be able to turn it on and off because the switch is on the bottom. So it's going to kind of go together like that, which I think looks pretty cool. Now, to make the moon look creepy and fun for Halloween, I thought we would use some of these little cupcake toppers from the Dollar Tree because there are some little black bats in there. But if you can't find these, the shape would be pretty easy to cut out. So I found that there was 2 bats in there, so that's going to have to work. They are on toothpicks, so I just go ahead and remove those. And then we can just attach those to our little lit up moon. I really like the effect that pillow fluff gives inside. I just hot glue the body so I can kind of make the wings stick up a little bit if I want, kind of like they're flying in front of a Halloween moon, and display it on the candlestick just like that. Pretty easy. I definitely had to use the rope to fill in some problem areas on that, but I wanted to test it out to see if it looked like a moon, and it lights up really cool. I think this is a really fun Halloween decoration, mainly because it lights up. So this is how it turned out. Our little Christmas ornament Halloween moon with a coastal rope border there and a black candlestick.
And I really like the glowing effect on this. I really think I captured like the look of a moon with some bats flying in front of it. But it was really easy to do and really fun as well.
Okay, next DIY, we're going to use one of these Halloween signs. This one says EEK, has a bat on it. And I'm going to show you how you can take a Halloween sign from the Dollar Tree and add your own spin on it. So again, we're going to use Cloudless by Apple Barrel, and we're going to do the entire back of the sign in that blue color. Don't be afraid to use like whatever colors that matches your decor or that you like for your Halloween decor. You definitely don't have to do orange, and I don't think I really did any orange today, and we did all Halloween DIYs. Now I love a blue sign with like white writing on it. I love that for like a coastal farmhouse feel. And I have a lot of signs like that in my home. I think it looks really beachy. So I thought we could do the same thing with a Halloween sign. Now, it was kind of hard to get in between all of the creases all around the letters and the bat. So that's why I used a brush. And then even when you dry it, you'll see a few little areas that you can still see the raw wood through. So I'm just going in. My brush is almost dry, but just trying to get any of those areas blue. Now for the EEK letters, I'm using a makeup sponge and some antique parchment, acrylic paint, and I'm just sponging that on. It's okay if I get a little bit here and there on the back sign because we're going to distress this with that color anyway to give it that coastal farmhouse vibe. I thought one coat was definitely not enough, so I'm going to go over it here with a second coat to really make those white letters pop against that blue background. Now the bat, of course, I wanted it to be black, and I really don't want the black on my sign, so I used a smaller brush and some black acrylic paint, and I'm carefully trying to paint the bat on. I did really good on the first half. The second half, I got a little too confident, and I did get a little black on my sign, but as long as you're fast, you can wipe off a lot of that with a baby wipe. It did kind of take off some of my blue paint too, though, so I do have to touch that up real quick just to make that look a little bit better with that cloudless color. And I really love the blue, white, and black. I've done that a lot with my Halloween decor. I think it looks coastal, but fun for Halloween. And then I told you I was going to distress it with the ivory, and that's what I do. I just work in one direction. I distress everything, all the blue, even the black on the bat. And then I follow that up with a baby wipe, blending it, wiping off any excess distress that I don't want. Also kind of wiping off any of the areas that I got some ivory on there before to kind of make that look more consistent. And you can just kind of work with it until you're happy with it. If you find that you distress too much and you can't wipe it off, you can always go back in with your original color, but it gives you a nice rustic feel. Now I take some Dollar Tree twine and we're just going to make a new hanger for this guy. And then burn off the fuzzies, and then I wanted to frame it out. Dollar Tree signs can be kind of thin, so I find that if you frame them out with like rope and stuff, it makes it look a little bit more substantial and makes it look a little bit better. So this is the 6-foot white nautical rope from Dollar Tree, and we're just going to start here at the top, right there where the hanger is, and glue the rope all the way around, slightly overlapping the edges to frame this out. And that's going to give it another coastal touch for Coastal Halloween. And I think it goes nicely with the EEK letters. It's like a perfect match with that color of ivory. Now, I don't really like the unwound rope here at the top. And this is the really thick rope. So I thought it looked a little shaggy at the top. But once I got that glued down, I decided to go ahead and do a bow at the top anyway. And so that'll cover that part up. I love this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. This is the white ribbon with the black bats all over it. I think it's perfect for that. I'm just going to cut down a little piece of ribbon here and cut a little rectangular piece. We're going to do a very simple bow, an X bow. So we're going to need 2 pieces. I'm not going to add anything else to it. I don't think it needs very much. I just think it needs something at the top. So a very simple expo like that. Now these are like wired ribbon, and so they do hold their shape pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and dovetail the ends just by folding them and cutting out a triangular shape there. And then kind of folding them so that they will sit properly, like cinching them in the middle and putting them together in the shape of an X. I'm going to bring all of that together with just a piece of twine, tying that around the front, kind of shaping that out, making sure all the fabric is going the right direction, tying that on the back, and then I just go around and tie that twine to our hanger to kind of initially tie this in place. And then I do want it to stay in place and cover up the top part of the rope where it's a little frayed there. So I do glue it down a little bit to make sure that covers that up. Now, I always like to do something fun too, like in the center to cover up the twine or the zip tie or whatever I use to make a bow. And so for this, I thought it just made sense that I would have to use a bat. So I'm going to use one of these cute little glitter bats from Dollar Tree. They actually come on a little clip, so I thought I would take advantage of that. I don't really appreciate the glitter, but it's the only thing that has glitter on it, so I think we can make it work. I just clip it from the bottom right in the middle of our expo, and we have a little flying bat here at the top of our little EEK sign. A lot of these Halloween signs this year are a lot bigger than they normally are from the Dollar Tree, and you can make a really cute DIY like this with them. And since they're just all raw wood, you can always do your own color scheme like this and make something really cute. But this is a way you can do a coastal version of your Halloween sign with the blue and the white colors, and it looks nice and beachy. And this is how it turned out, our little blue, white, and black EEK sign. I love it. I think it's so cute. Sometimes I don't like the fact that the wood parts are already glued onto the sign because it makes them a little bit harder to paint, but with a little bit of patience, you can definitely do it. And it does make the project cheaper because it's only $1.25. You're getting the wood round, you're getting the letters, you're getting the bat, all of that for $1.25. So it's a great deal.
Hey guys, are you enjoying today's video? If you are, be sure to hit that like button. It always helps my videos here on YouTube.
I just picked up a plastic skull from the Dollar Tree, and we are really going to transform this. I didn't know if I would really be able to pull it off, but I wanted to do a driftwood skull. So I thought using a plastic skull would probably be a good base. I was a little worried though I didn't really like the color of the teeth and things that might show through after I add driftwood to it. And these parts are still going to be visible. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint mine with a little bit of ivory acrylic just to brighten those up a little bit because they are kind of black and dark. And the things that will be visible are the eye sockets, the nose,
the teeth. So I just darkened up the little eye sockets and nostrils with some black acrylic just to make them look a little bit better than the paint job that was already on there. Once I have that all touched up and dried, this is the driftwood we're going to use. This is the driftwood vase filler available at Target. It's a kind of a light color, so you can always stain it if you want like a more colorful driftwood, but I actually find that it's easier to craft with than actual driftwood that I get at the beach. So the trickiest part is probably the face, so that is the area that I'm starting with. And I'm just trying to find driftwood pieces that are going to kind of naturally fit with the little skeleton face and try them until they do, overlapping, hot gluing those both to the little plastic skull and to each other if I need to. And again, I want like the eyes, the nose, the teeth to all be visible. So I'm going to sit here and fill in some of the chin too. And you can see definitely like a puzzle putting this together. I have to try pieces until I think they'll work. And then I just attach them with hot glue. And the end result of this little driftwood skull is so cool. I really am so glad that I made this. It really goes great with my coastal Halloween decor that I decorate within my house. I have a lot of skeletons and stuff like that, like skeleton animals, especially skeleton like sea creatures. And this is just another fun vibe to go with that, with the driftwood feel. Now, these pieces, they come in all different shapes and sizes, as you can see, but you know, if you need a smaller piece, they're pretty easy to cut down to if you need to, but I'm trying to make do with what I have. I just dumped all mine out so I could really get a good selection, just because this was definitely a challenging fit here for the driftwood pieces. Once you get the face done, though, it becomes easier because then you're just going to be working with the back of the skull, the top of the head, and you can kind of do whatever kind of pattern that you want. I kind of have mine really no pattern whatsoever, just kind of having them go whatever direction they're going to fit, and just keep attaching all of those with hot glue. And I have this way sped up because it can be a little bit more of a time-consuming process to make a driftwood project like this. But I think the driftwood filler from Target is definitely the key. I have bought this before on Amazon, but I kind of prefer this that's available at Target. I also added a little bit extra here to the back of the head to make it sit flat like I wanted. And then basically it's just a process of trying to clean up any of your excess hot glue from all of the glue that you added to it. I pretty much put driftwood everywhere except for the very bottom of his chin. And I think he looks pretty good. I did want to distress his teeth a little bit with a little antique wax by Waverly to make them look not so perfect on this old driftwood skull. And I think it turned out pretty cool. What do you guys think about our little driftwood skull DIY? I think this would go really good for like coastal Halloween. It would also look really cool with like pirate decor and stuff like that if you get into that for Halloween. But this is how it looks and how I constructed mine. And he's coming to get you. And let me show you how I displayed it in my house. I displayed it with some blue coral decor that I had, and with the other coastal Halloween items. I think it looks really kind of creepy yet cool.
And I am still trying to find another source for a driftwood like this one. I don't understand why Target got rid of it because I know that I bought it all the time and I sent people in there to buy it all the time.
Okay, the next DIY, we are going to take this vase from the Dollar Tree. These are plastic. They have them, I think, in white and black. And I picked up a white one. I thought we could turn it upside down and make an ocean creature version of a ghost. Now, the bottom of it is flat. So I thought if I took one of these little foam balls from the Dollar Tree and cut it in half, I could give it more of a dome shape on the top for the creature that I want to make. So that's what I did. I hot glued that on. Now, the only thing was, I don't know if it's because the ball was small. I thought it was a little bit pointier than I needed. So I actually redid that. But in the end, I think it turned out probably exactly the same.
So you could use the styrofoam ball. Now, this is the like ivory version of the creepy cloth from Dollar Tree again. And it's kind of a long piece. It's a little hard to try to find where it starts and stops. But what I wanted to do was make a ghost octopus out of this. So to do that, I'm going to use all of the creepy cloth, like making it go over it several times. That's when I was like, you know what? I don't really like the little foam ball right on top. I wanted to see if I could do something a little bit better. You could always just have it a little bit flatter on top. That would work too if you don't have anything. I had some white model magic from the Dollar Tree though, so I decided to kind of make a little dome piece on there to kind of fill it out just by putting that right on the top, taking off the excess model magic until I kind of have a dome shape on the top of the head. And this works. This is what I end up using, but again, I think it probably looks pretty similar to the foam ball. I just shape it to kind of make it go with the vase because you want to use the white vase underneath because you can definitely see through it. If you have the black one, you'd probably have to paint it white. But I noticed my white model magic was not the same color white as the vase, so I did go ahead and paint it white too so that you can't see like the difference in color there. And I did paint that model magic while it was still kind of, soft like that. And it will still harden up over time. Now let's make our little ghost octopus. I go ahead and string one layer over the top. Then I find the other end and fold it in half and drape that over. So we've got 3 layers. And it makes this nice ghost material like this. I make sure that the vase is kind of in the center. I'm not going to make a base or anything. I'm just going to have the vase be upside down. And then I take some twine and tie off the head of our ghost like that with some Dollar Tree twine. Now I take it and I pull out the tentacles of our octopus. I guess it kind of looks like a squid too. But I wanted to make sure that I had 8 tentacles there for an octopus. Then I realized that my twine was really not tight, wasn't really cinched up where it needed to be. So I'm going to go ahead and tie that up a little bit tighter here. And then we can decorate our little ghost octopus. This turned out so cute and it's nice and large. You could always hang it up too, but I think it would look more like a traditional ghost if you hung it up. But if you sit it on a shelf or a counter, you can make the tentacles go out in all directions. Now our little ghost needs a face. I'm just going to do some eyes. So I'm going to use some black felt from Dollar Tree. And I just used a little chalk marker so I could draw on the black. And I just sketch out 2 ovals because cutting ovals and circles is not quite that easy. I need me a little guidance. And then I just cut inside the little chalk lines there to cut 2 ovals for little ghost eyes. I'm not going to give it a mouth or anything like that. I think 2 eyes is going to be plenty. And then I'm just going to attach it to the little octopus face, right there. And I'm just going to hot glue those in place. I'm going to leave the twine wrapped around the neck of it to keep that all in place. And I think that goes nice with the design as well. And then I just kind of pull out all the tentacles and let me show you how I style this little guy. He's so fun. So I make sure I have 8 strands coming down here, and I want to do 4 on each side. I kind of overlap the ones that are kind of on top of the other ones and kind of alternate that pattern around. And that's how he turned out. I'm just going to display him sitting like that. Again, you could always hang it. I wanted to show you how it looked on my table in my entryway. I think it's so cute. You're definitely getting that ghost vibe, but you're also getting a little bit of octopus in there as well, which I think is really fun, and it's going to go great with my coastal decor. So here he is, our little ghost octopus. Okay, the next DIY, I found these great little skeleton seahorses at the Dollar Tree, and I thought these would make a great coastal Halloween DIY. Now, the only thing I don't like about them is they're kind of like pinkish orange for some reason, but otherwise they're really cool, especially for $1.25. So the first thing I'm going to do is give them a little seahorse skeleton makeover. I'm going to just darken their little eye sockets in with a black Sharpie. And then we are going to brighten them up with some ivory acrylic paint to kind of make them look more like my other like little skeleton animals that I have. So I make sure to use a brush so I can kind of get down in between. I guess they have like rib cages on this. My son was like, that is not scientifically accurate. I'm like, I know, but look how cool they are. They're little seahorses, right? And I think they look way better in this like more ivory bone color than whatever that color was before. Now I wanted to do a base to do a fun little like creepy ocean scene with these guys as well. And so I'm going to do that with just a little Dollar Tree oval sign, and I can attach them to it too, because as you can see, they kind of want to tip over a little bit. I think like these little signs like this make great bases. It's just about the perfect size. So I'm going to hot glue them to the sign. Now, I don't want them to be exactly the same height. So I hot glued one directly. The other one, I just used some like orange wood round stickers that I had from the Dollar Tree just to kind of give me a little boost to make this one sit up a little bit higher, but it's not really going to interfere with my design here. Then I want to make the bottom of it look creepy like the ocean floor. So again, I'm going to use Spanish moss, this time just hot gluing it down to kind of keep it in place and cover up that entire bottom part of the seahorse sign. And then we can add some other like little sea creatures and stuff in it to make it look kind of cool. Right now, you know, the Spanish moss just kind of has a crazy shape, but basically you want to cover it and then you can go in, give it a quick little haircut, trim it up, kind of get it back down to that oval shape that we started with. Now for the decor, I wanted some other little ocean creatures. So I'm going to use some more grow animals, this time the sea turtle and a little crab, and then also a little plastic starfish. I get these on Amazon as well. And I am going to give a little creepy Halloween makeover, especially to the little crab. Again, the sea turtle is already black for some reason, which is cool for Halloween, but usually I have to paint it to use those. But I love crafting with these because these are available pretty much year-round at my Dollar Trees in the toy aisles, and they're great for coastal crafting. So we're going to make this little crab instead of red, black, because I wanted again to go with my black, blue, and kind of wider ivory color scheme I have for my Halloween DIYs. I went ahead and painted the underside as well, just in case you could kind of see underneath of it a little bit. I wanted him all to be black. I'm going to leave the starfish blue because that goes with my color scheme perfectly. And so I just hot glue on our little sea creatures into the Spanish moss to make them look like they're crawling around on the ocean floor. So the sea turtle, the starfish, and our little crab. And then I thought it'd be cute to add some seashells as well. Again, these are the little bottled seashells from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to kind of strategically glue some of those around as well. And I really think it made these little Dollar Tree skeleton, a seahorse, into a fun little ocean scene. Perfect for coastal Halloween decor. And this is how it turned out. If you see these cute little guys at your Dollar Tree, be sure to pick them up. They're so fun to craft with. Now, I decided I wanted to kind of finish up the edges, give it a little bit of a rope border. So I just used some Dollar Tree rope and hot glue that all along the edges of the sign, just to kind of give it a more finished appearance. And an extra coastal touch is always nice. Just going to kind of close that up on the very back of it. And this little DIY is ready to go. And this is how it turned out. I think it's so cute and looks super spooky for coastal Halloween. I display mine here in my cabinet with some blue coral. And I love the little surprise blue starfish little pop of color as well. But I love the little seahorses.
Mine don't always, my Dollar Trees don't always get them in. You really have to keep your eye out for these and for the skeleton mermaids, but they are adorable.
Okay, the next DIY is going to be very simple, very fun for like a coastal Halloween. I picked up a wood sign from the Dollar Tree and one of these little jack-o'-lantern wood signs. He looks super happy. I love the kind of cartoonish face on him. And I thought we could make this into a standing jack-o'-lantern sign for Halloween. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill the hole there with some spackle, but I'm probably going to cover that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'm just going to use a variety of blue colors. This is the Cloudless by Apple Barrel that I was talking about before. I love this color. It's my absolute favorite for coastal decorating. This is Caribbean by Apple Barrel as well. As you can see, it's a lot bluer. And I'm just using the same brush. This one is Caribbean Blue this is the Target brand. And I do that one as well. It's very similar to the Cloudless. It's a little bit darker. And as you can see, I'm just alternating colors. I wanted the darker Caribbean color, this color, to kind of be the horizon of the ocean, the Cloudless to be the sky, and the Caribbean blue at the bottom to kind of be like the sea. So that's all we're going to do. It's just a very abstract ocean scene. And then we can start working on the base. I love these little wood slice signs from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this one to make a base for the jack-o'-lantern. And I still have that very diluted Antique Wax by Waverly that I can make a stain. I kind of want it to look like driftwood. So I stain this. I think it might be a little bit sealed because it didn't really want to take the stain quite that easily. But I think I did change the color a little bit. I did do 2 coats of it, trying to like tint it, kind of give it that driftwood feel, just wiping off the excess with a paper towel. Now to put this little project together, I wanted the back of the jack-o'-lantern to be covered in burlap. That way the eyes, the nose, and the mouth have burlap behind them. And if you can't find a roll of burlap at the Dollar Tree, sometimes you can find burlap in these little bags from the Dollar Tree. So this is a perfect size, so I'm just going to use that by cutting off the back of this Dollar Tree burlap bag. And then that's going to be the perfect size to cover the back of our little jack-o'-lantern. I wanted burlap because it's going to look nice and coastal, but you can also see through it too. So I thought that'd be really fun. I guess you could probably even do a candle behind this if you wanted it to light up a little bit through the face. I just cut it into a circular shape there to cover the back of it. And then I was like, this is going to be a standing sign too. So I might as well make the back of it look nice too. So I just used one color. I just used the Cloudless and a makeup sponge to do a very thin coat of blue all along the back, just to make it look a little bit nicer and more finished. I love using the makeup sponge because it gives you a very thin layer and it works great on these thin signs like this from the Dollar Tree. And then we can just attach the burlap to the back. I'm just going to hot glue it as close as I can to all the openings to keep it nice and tight. So like I go around the eyes and then the sides of the face like that, around the nose, and then glue it all around the little jack-o'-lantern mouth. Easy peasy. And we have that burlap background. I think it makes it look so much better. And I love the abstract ocean. It's so simple to do, and you really cannot mess that up. Now I just need to find a way to attach it to the stand. And then I also thought I should do something a little bit different with the pumpkin stem. So I just take some Dollar Tree twine, hot glue that to the back, and just simply wrap that around. I think that the twine is going to look really good. It's going to complement the burlap really well. And it's going to make the pumpkin stem look a little bit nicer. I'm not going to do like any leaves or tendrils or anything like that. I wanted this project to be really kind of simple. And you could always decorate this a little bit more, and I'll show you that here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and burn off the fuzzies on my twine here, and then we can attach it to the sign. I didn't want to like do any kind of major construction on that sign, so I thought if I use some of these wood beads from the Dollar Tree, these are the little cube ones, I could use those to glue that to it. It's such a lightweight sign, it doesn't need much to stand up. And then I hot glue the sign to the beads attached to that sign. And it actually worked out really well because, again, the sign is very lightweight. I do add excess hot glue here on the back to make sure it's nice and strong. And here it is, our little ocean jack-o'-lantern. You could always add seashells and stuff like that to the base of it if you wanted a little bit more coastal decor. You could even do sand down there. But I really wanted this project to be nice and simple, a nice pop of blue ocean colors with the jack-o'-lantern, but very cute and coastal Halloween as well. Isn't that such a happy little jack-o'-lantern? It really makes me smile. I wanted to make a little coastal bat sign, so I'm going to use just one of these signs from the Dollar Tree. It can be anything. I just kind of wanted it to be square and something that could stand up on its side. And I'm going to combine that with one of the little Dollar Tree slatted bat signs to do a fun coastal sign. Now, the only thing I don't like about these signs is they have the little bump out cardboard sign on the top. And it's just kind of like glued on to the one underneath of it. So it's just a matter of trying to peel this off without really damaging the sign behind it. Otherwise, any kind of thrifted sign, anything square is going to be good for something like this. And once I got that all cleaned up, isn't it kind of funny that they put the same image on it? I am going to mask that by just going over it with a coat of white paint. I just kind of want a blank canvas for this. And a lot of these DIYs are going to be like black and white and blue color scheme for Halloween, which I think is really fun. Definitely goes with the coastal vibe. So I'm going to use a Caribbean blue mixed together with some ivory because I wanted a nice beachy blue. And we're just going to go over the front and like all of the sides of the sign with that. I wanted the blue sign, and then we're going to bring in like the black bat, and we're also going to add some words and some fun details on this. So I'm making this for my cabinet for Halloween decor, and I have a lot of really fun, kind of like complimentary projects to go with it today. So that looks pretty good. We can start on our little slatted wood bat from Dollar Tree. I love the little slatted Halloween signs. I think they're really cool. I don't really need a hanger because I'm going to attach it to the front of the sign. So I just use a little spackle to fill that up. And we're just going to paint this little bat black. I have it upside down because I want to kind of hang it upside down like that, like a bat would be hanging like in a cave. So I just go over all of it with some black acrylic paint, making sure to kind of get into the grooves to that back part of the sign as well. Kind of have to switch to a smaller brush for that. And I thought you might be able to see the edges, so I'm going to go ahead and touch those all up with black as well. And I don't want it to be like just a solid black like that, so I'm going to give it a slight coastal farmhouse distress just by using ivory, acrylic, a chunky brush, and just distressing in one direction, blending any excess with a baby wipe. And I just want that beachy look for that. And I think that's going to look really cute hanging upside down here on our little blue sign. So I'm going to have it hang from something up here, but I also wanted the sign to be big enough to kind of put a word or two underneath of it. And so I'm actually going to use my Cricut for this. And I'm not sure what the fonts were I used on this. I'll see if I can find these and share these in the description below. I might still have the file for this. And I just put one to hang. I thought that would be really cute with a little bat hanging upside down. And I just did it with black vinyl. And we're just going to add that straight to the sign just to make it nice and easy. This is the black vinyl that I get on Amazon on the roll. I really love this stuff. And then I also use the paper transfer paper. Both of those should be available in my Amazon shop below. And I just put it right here on the bottom of the sign, and an easy way to add a little personalization to that sign. I haven't attached the bat yet. I just kind of put it there to kind of see where I would want it. Just want to make sure that my vinyl is good and down. I like to sand it sometimes to kind of make it kind of blend in with the board a little bit. And I also want to make sure it doesn't come up. So I'm just going to seal it with some Mod Podge. Some matte Mod Podge to kind of give me more of a matte finish. Here lately, I've been using a matte vinyl that I get on Amazon with the white, and I really like that because I don't tend to have to Mod Podge it to get that finish. I don't really like the shiny vinyl look when I'm making a sign. And then another thing you can do is distress it. I'm going to distress mine with a little bit of ivory, kind of break it up, kind of make it look more like a hand-painted sign, a little bit more coastal, kind of matching the distressing that we did on the little black bat. So I think we can put this all together now. I kind of want to hang it like this. And so I just go ahead and hot glue it to our sign. And then I actually want something for it to be hanging from. And so I'm going to actually use a twine for that, make it look like it's hanging from a twine piece. But I noticed that even though it is a sign that's kind of designed to stand on its side, it wasn't quite strong enough to hold the bat up. So I'm just going to use a little jenga block from Five Below here, just to weigh down the bottom to make sure this stands up the way that I like. And then we can go ahead and add some twine. I actually had some twine left over from one of those little shelf signs from the Dollar Tree, so I might as well use it. I just burn off the fuzzies, put it underneath the little bat feet like that, and wrap that around the sign. We can secure it on the inside, just with a little bit of hot glue. And I think this DIY is complete. Just a really simple, fun Halloween DIY, but it's also got the coastal vibes with the beachy blue and the rope that the little bat is hanging from, and a little bit of coastal distressing as well. And this is how it turned out, our little wanna hang bat. I love the blue and black together. I did a Halloween tier tray like this too, and I really love that combination together.
They look really good together. And I always love a pop of blue in any decor that I do. Hey guys, I would really love to see what you guys have been crafting as well. I have a private Facebook group. It's linked in the description of this video. Be sure to join us so you can see what everybody's been crafting. I love getting ideas from you guys, and you guys share them with everybody, and it's so much fun.
Okay, this might be one of my most popular Halloween DIYs ever. We're going to make a haunted beach house. So to start with, I chose 2 of the same little plastic doll houses from the toy aisle at Dollar Tree. Doesn't matter which version you get, really. I kind of thought this one looked nice and sweet. They have different colors. It doesn't matter the colors because we're going to paint it. I don't need any of the accessories, even though they're kind of cute. I took mine outside and spray painted the whole thing with some hidden sea glass color spray paint. Then, once I got that dry, I'm going to go in and kind of touch it up here and there because there were like some little touches of pink showing through. So I just go in with some like blue agave, light blue colors, and kind of distress it all over because I do want it to look like a haunted house. I want it to look a little bit distressed. Then these pair together so that you can close it into a house if you have 2 of them like this. So there's little clips on the side, but I helped it out by adding some hot glue here along the roof line because I really want it to stay close together and not have like that gap in between the 2 different houses. As you can see, when I kind of touched the paint, a little bit came off, so I did have to distress it some more. No problems. You could always paint this without using spray paint, but there were so many little nooks and crannies, especially like inside. I thought it would turn out a little bit better, be a little easier with spray paint. Now to make the beach house part of it. I wanted to have it up on stilts, so I'm going to use some Dollar Tree Jenga blocks to make 4 stilts for our little beach house. And then we're going to use a little Dollar Tree wood sign and a Dollar Tree bamboo cutting board to make the structure. So for the house itself, I'm going to use just one of these rectangular crafting signs from Dollar Tree. From the crafting square, it was about the right size for the bottom base of the house. Doesn't have to be perfect though. This is just what I could find, and I glue one of the little stilts to each one. And then for the bottom of the structure, I'm going to use one of the bamboo cutting boards from Dollar Tree. I love crafting with those. But you can use whatever you have that's going to be like a rectangular size. And we can just do the little beach house up on the stilts. Now, since it is a beach house underneath the stilts, it would make sense that we would have sand down there, right? And because this is a beach house. So again, I'm going to use school glue and a paintbrush, and we're just going to put a nice thick layer of glue all over underneath the stilts. But I made sure to glue those down first so I could glue those to the solid wood structure. Then again, I'm using some white sand from the Dollar Tree, sprinkling that all over. You might want to put something down first before you do this because the sand does get a little messy. And then I use the spray glue from Dollar Tree to glue it down, adding another layer too, making sure that the sand was nice and thick. For the front part here, I want it to look like the ocean is lapping up against the beach house. And so I wanted to add something blue for to represent the ocean. So I did a layer of tacky glue, and then I'm using those little light blue pebbles from the Dollar Tree to make it look like water. Added a little bit more here, tacky glue here, just to kind of make the water just this little tiny corner, just lapping up against one of the stilts of the beach house. And the tacky glue works great for the pebbles because it's a nice, strong adhesive that's gonna dry clear. I also sprayed adhesive on top of it to help glue it down. Now to attach our beach house, I just used hot glue to attach it to that wood sign that was right on top. And now we can start working on our yard. I thought we needed a little pink flamingo, but instead of a pink flamingo, I thought we could make it look creepy. So I found a little pink flamingo lip gloss from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to paint it black. But any kind of pink flamingo that you can find from the Dollar Tree would be great for this. You could make it look like a skeleton flamingo, or you can just make it nice and creepy and black like I did. Now, it didn't have any legs or anything like that, so I'm just going to use a couple of toothpicks and cut them down to make little legs. And I can just attach this with hot glue on the bottom of the little lip gloss to make him stand up in our little beachfront yard. Now, I was going through my stash trying to find things that would be kind of coastal, creepy or cool, but my son had a fabulous idea. He said make it look like a sea monster was attacking the beach house. So that's what we're going to do. I used model magic and I formed a tentacle, think like a giant octopus or something like that. And then I used an ink pen to actually give it little tube feet all the way up. I'm going to have it look like the sea monster is coming out of the ocean and attacking the haunted beach house. So I'm going to do several tentacles, and we can have them coming out, reaching out, getting the house, kind of wrapping around the little stilts and stuff like that. And this was the most amazing touch for it. I'm so glad that we added the little tentacles here for the sea monster. It's my favorite part of this DIY. Now they will harden, so I'm going to let them sit for a little bit like that. I did use a little hot glue to glue them down to make sure they don't go anywhere, but then I kind of have them wrapping around the house, which is fun. And I am going to go back and paint those as well. Just going to let those harden up a little bit. Then I decided to use a little succulent from the Dollar Tree to kind of look like a little air plant, maybe an aloe at the beach. And I just attached that to the sand with hot glue as well. And then I wanted a vehicle to park underneath the little stilts. And so I'm going to use this little blue truck that I got I think I got this at Dollar General. And I'm just going to give it a little beachy makeover. It's the perfect size. I just didn't really like the color on it. So I'm going to use this chalk paint. This is the agave color. It's about the same color that we painted the beach house. And we're just going to do a little blue truck, which I love for fall. And then we can put some fall stuff in the back. This one had a little succulent in the back, but I kind of wanted to switch it up and make it look like a farm truck full of pumpkins to go with the fall Halloween theme. But I just gave it a little makeover by painting all the little details because, I got a little paint on there when I changed the color. So I'm just touching everything up with a little bit of a paint pen. And you can see I went through my whole stash trying to find stuff to decorate this with, but I did come up with some really fun ideas that we're going to actually put on the beach house as well. For the pumpkins, I chose these little teeny tiny pumpkins on stakes that I found at the Dollar Tree. The only thing is they didn't have any pumpkin stems. And so I'm just going to use a little skewer from the Dollar Tree and paint that brown. And we can cut that down and make little pumpkin stems. For our little teeny tiny pumpkins, I wanted something small enough to fit in the back of this truck, and I think these are going to be perfect. They're made out of foam, so I just push those down in there. And then to make sure everything stays put, I'm just going to hot glue the pumpkins in the back of the truck. And we're going to park that underneath of our little haunted beach house. It fits in there perfectly. Lots of details make this DIY really cute. I decided to hot glue it down to make sure it stays in place, and then hot gluing our little black flamingo in the front yard as well. Now, the extra coastal touches I decided to do was a little seashell that I had from the beach. I painted it just to look like a ghost with like 3 little black dots on it. I'm going to have that coming out of a window. And then I took a black seashell I found from the beach and combined it with a Dollar Tree black spider, also painting my shell a little bit darker to match. And I'm going to have that attacking our little haunted beach house as well. So like a seashell ghost and a seashell spider, I thought that would be really fun. Lots of fun details on this. And I'm going to have them both attacking the house, kind of the ghost coming out of the little window in the front. Now, I thought the beach house looked a little too cute and it needed to be a little creepier. So I decided to distress the whole thing with some antique wax by Waverly, bringing out all the details and making it kind of look old and deserted, like a haunted house would, because this is a haunted house, remember, even though it's a super cute beach version. Now it's time to attach our little seashells here. I'm going to hot glue the little ghost seashell that I picked out to be coming kind of out of the window here in front by hot gluing that onto the plastic house. And then I'm going to attach the little seashell spider to the roof because he's nice and large. So this little beach house is definitely getting attacked and super decorated here for Halloween. Now, I think that looks really good. I think we have tons of beach details on our little haunted beach house, but we can't forget the little sea monster that we created. It's time to paint it. I decided it would look really good in orange, so I'm using chalk paint by Waverly, the color pumpkin, to paint this. I decided to let it set up a little bit before I painted it, but, you know, they actually stiffen up. They hold up pretty well. You might experience a little cracking over the years, but I thought it was such a fun touch, and I'm so glad I decided to add the little sea monster touch. I knew I wanted something like that, but I just couldn't come up with the idea, and I think that this was perfect. So I think everything looks great. I decided to paint the base here, that little wooden sign that we attached the house to, the same color as the house, just to kind of make that blend in a little bit. But otherwise, I like the little stilts being like natural wood. And here it is, our little haunted beach house. So fun. So many little beachy fun details, but also so many fun like Halloween details. The seashell spider. We have our seashell ghost coming out of the window. Looks nice and creepy with all the distressing. We've got our little black flamingo in the front yard. We've got our little pumpkin truck parked underneath. And of course, the star of the show. It's being attacked by our little orange sea monster. Up next, I thought we could redo this cute little ghost sign that I got at the Dollar Tree and give it a fun little coastal makeover as well. It has a little boo word on front. I just go ahead and pop that off. It's also covered in lots of glitter like Dollar Tree likes to do. So I tried to sand that off so that we can DIY this little guy. Now, I did want to kind of disguise like the face and stuff on there because what I wanted to do was to see if we could cover this ghost in sand. I thought that'd be a fun coastal idea to make a little sand ghost, but I didn't want the eyes and the mouth shining through. So I kind of masked that with just some ivory chalk paint just to kind of give me a blank canvas. Then we are going to try to attach sand to it. So I do an even layer of school glue all over. And then I'm just using white sand from the Dollar Tree, sprinkling that all over the school glue, doing a layer of sand on top of the ghost. Now, I like to use like the spray glue that you can get at Dollar Tree too for the second layer of glue. And then I sprinkle down some more sand on top of that. spraying the top of that too until I get a good coverage where I really can't see any of the ghosts through it. I can only see the sand. Now you're going to want to make sure to give this a good dry before you work on, because all of that glue is going to be really wet on their sand. Now I wanted them to hold a sign, so I'm going to use one of these little wood signs from the Dollar Tree that says Boo, and I just paint that with some Caribbean blue color. And I'm going to just replace the hanger that was on the top of the sign because I want to make it a hanging ghost like it was before. And then I'm also going to attach that Boo sign to the front of it, kind of making it look like the little sand ghost is holding the little Boo sign. I thought that would break it up, give it a little bit more color. And then I thought it'd be super fun to use some seashells from my shell stash for a little ghost eyes and a mouth. I found these oval ones worked great for the eyes, but when you're hot gluing onto sand and you have a rather thick layer of sand like I did, you have to make sure you go pretty deep with your glue, because what you want to do is, glue it to the sign behind it, not necessarily to the sand. So definitely push it on there until you get good contact to make sure that your little shells stay in place. I had to try a couple times with both the eyes and the nose, but then I finally got it down. And I'm just going to leave them their natural brown color. I thought that would be cute. And then I want to attach the little Boo to the front. And I don't really want to glue it to the sand. I want it to look like he's holding it. So I glue some twine to both sides of the little Boo sign. And then we can drape that over the little ghost arms. Kind of like that. It's going to make it easier to attach because I can just hot glue the twine to the back of the little ghost arms. And we did it. We have a little sand ghost sign. I think he's so cute. I love the idea of using the seashells for the ghost eyes and the mouth. We've done it for a couple DIYs today. And I just removed the excess twine, reinforcing our little sign on the front. And this little DIY is complete. I think he's so cute. And he's really actually held up well in my Halloween storage. I really like that. I added the little sign to him. Otherwise, he would be a little bit plain. But, the sand is not perfect on him. But it really shouldn't be perfect if it were like a little sand ghost. Let's mix it up and do like a coastal spider DIY. I picked up one of these little tinsel spider webs from the Dollar Tree, and I thought we could give it a makeover by first removing, of course, all of the tinsel on here. I want to replace all of the tinsel from this spider web with some Dollar Tree rope to make a really fun coastal version of a spider web. And we can use the existing spider that came on it as well. Now, to start our spider web, I decided to start with doing the rings first. And then we can do like the lines that go up and down and stuff like that. Instead of just hot glue, I actually tied mine on just to give it a little bit of a stronger point there. It is a little tricky with the spider web is because usually they kind of arch a little bit inwards when you're doing a spider web. So I was trying to get that arch a little bit here with my rope. So I kind of had to do like one little section here at a time. So I could kind of push it back with that slight arch in the spider web to get that right shape and to give it that spider web feel. Also, I want to cover up, of course, all of the black plastic underneath. And we're going to do that for all 3 rings here of our spider web. So it doesn't really matter the order that you do these. Just have to cover it all. I love remaking these little tinsel items from the Dollar Tree. You guys know I have done it for so many holidays and seasons, and a spider web is perfect to be made out of rope. You could also do this with like the white rope from the Dollar Tree. I think it'd be really cute too. You might want to use the thinner one though. The thicker one might be too thick for us. Once I get those all glued on, I'm just going to go around and start burning off the fuzzies just to clean it up a little bit. And we can start another package here to do these lines here. Now, you kind of have 2 options. You can kind of overlap the rope, or you can cut down individual pieces to fit in there. Because if you overlap it like I do, you kind of get like a little bumpy, but that's okay. It kind of keeps the line a little bit more seamless. So I start here with the second one and overlap that as well. hot gluing that and then tying it off. I thought that was probably enough overlapping in the center there. It was going to get a little too raised. So for the other pieces, I just cut one half down at a time and just glue those all on there until we have a rope spider web. Gonna go in and give that a quick burn for all of the little fibers that are on there as well. And then we can start working on the little spider to go on the front. You could always switch it up and use one of their tarantulas if you want, but I thought the spider was kind of cool, but I wanted it to look beachy and cool, so I decided to make my spider a light blue spider. So I just gave him a nice coat of blue paint, and he's going to look perfect on the front of that little rope spider web. And there he is. I'm just going to attach him with hot glue. This DIY, it's a little time consuming to remove the tinsel and to glue the rope on, but otherwise it's really simple and it turns out so cute. See how coastal and cool that looks? And even if you didn't do a coastal style of decorating, I think it would still look nice for Halloween. It looks way more high-end than the Dollar Tree tinsel for sure, and I love the blue and the brown together. It looks really good on that like ivory or lighter color wall like that with the brown rope as well. And it would be cute on your door for Halloween too.
Be sure to visit my new website, craftybeach.net. I'm archiving all my DIYs over there so that you can pin them on Pinterest so you can remember to DIY them.
The next Halloween DIY is a favorite. I'm going to make a really fun beach scene for skeletons. So I want it to look like a skeleton family is at the beach. To do that, I'm going to use just a Dollar Tree sign. I chose like a rectangular sign that had a frame that I could use that would kind of keep like sand in there because I want it to look like a sand beach scene, right? Now there was like, a bright print on mine. So I just went over it with a little bit of like cashew colored paint just to cover that up a little bit. I'm going to cover the entire base of it with sand. Doesn't really matter, but I didn't want you to be able to see that through the sand in the final project. Now for the little Adirondack chairs, I found these little plastic ones at the toy section at Dollar Tree, and they're blue. I think they're perfect. I did want them to look a little bit more coastal farmhouse, so I distress all over with just a little bit of ivory paint to kind of roughen them up, make them look a little bit less like plastic, a little bit less shiny with that chalk paint finish. Now for the skeletons, I chose like this 4-pack. They're like all hanging. I thought these would be the perfect size. And I'm only going to do 3. I think I can only really fit 3. I'll have like 2 in the chair and like 1 like burying itself in the sand. It can be like the little kid version, right? They look pretty good. I decided to kind of color in their like eye sockets a little bit with a paint pen, but otherwise I kind of left them as is. So I thought we could do like the mom and dad sitting in the little beach chairs. So before I attach my sand, I'm going to go ahead and glue my beach chairs down to the sign to make sure it stays in place. But then we can start working on sand. Whenever I attach sand for like a coastal or beach project, I always use school glue. It works great. And I use a paintbrush to spread that out. Now, I told you one was going to be like a little child skeleton, right? So I'm going to go ahead and glue him down before I add the sand because we're going to look like he's like buried in the sand like kids do at the beach. And so I just go over the whole thing with some Dollar Tree sand. This is like kind of the whiter sand, but it would look really good with the tan sand as well. Just whatever you can find at Dollar Tree. It's always kind of hard to find the kind that you're looking for. Now, once I get it all in there, I go over it with some spray glue. I find that this helps keep the glue down because you're gluing it from above. And this is just the aerosol spray glue from Dollar Tree. And then while it's wet, I do try to go over it with a little bit more sand to glue to it. And see how like the skeleton down there that we buried, he can have like some of his like hands and feet like peeking through, and you definitely want to see his little head. So I'm just going to dry off any parts that I don't want to be covered in sand. And then we can do like a little mom and dad skeleton hanging out in these little chairs. They're the perfect size. Since it is a Halloween DIY, I wanted a pumpkin to decorate it to make sure that you know that it is Halloween at the beach, right? So I used a little tiny pumpkin from Dollar Tree. I had a white one, and so I just painted it pumpkin chalk paint by Waverly, just to give it a little regular pumpkin color there. And I just want to add some little fun details for our little skeleton's day at the beach. So I thought they definitely needed a pumpkin. I'm going to use a ping pong ball from the Dollar Tree as well. And we're going to create like a little beach ball out of that. It's already white, so I thought it'd be really easy to create a beach ball just by using some paint pens and doing like a little red quadrant on there and a blue and a yellow. Super easy. And then you leave the rest of it white and it's going to look just like a traditional beach ball. And I just wanted some fun little things to decorate it a little bit more. Just because it was a little plain, I really wanted to give that day at the beach vibes. Now, I thought that the mom and the dad, the skeleton, could use some swimsuits. So I'm actually going to use one of these little chamois, the little car chamois from the Dollar Tree, for some orange felt. I thought the orange would be a great color for Halloween to make them some swimsuits. So I just cut out some swim shorts by cutting it out, like kind of doubling it up. And then using hot glue to attach that. No sew, very simple. Kind of like some little tiny doll clothes for some little shorts here for the dad. Nothing crazy, but super fun. And then I'm also going to hot glue him in place so that he doesn't fall around. I want him to stay here in the little beach chair. Now for the little mom, I decided to make her a bikini. So I did that by cutting 2 triangles out of the chamois and then just kind of hot gluing them on a little bit like, it kind of looks a little bit like a diaper here. And then for her top, I'm going to do the same thing just by cutting out some triangles to kind of make a little bikini top for her. And then cutting like another strap to attach them together and another strap to kind of go around the neck to kind of make it look like she's wearing a bikini. Doesn't have to be like a real swimsuit, but I just kind of want to give it like the illusion that they're wearing swimsuits. The little boy one is buried in the sand, so he doesn't need a swimsuit at all. And I thought that was another fun touch to kind of, give the day at the beach vibe for our little skeleton family. And then I wanted something a little bit taller to stick out of the back. So I decided to take a couple of these, like one of these jumbo popsicle sticks from Walmart. And I just want to cut down 2 little surfboards. They're naturally kind of shaped like a surfboard anyway, but I cut them a little bit pointier to give them that surfboard vibe. And I wanted to look like the surfboards are kind of standing up here in the background, like they've been out surfing at the beach. So I did one for him and one for her. So I'm going to do them like different colors too. So I painted one of the popsicle sticks that pumpkin color, the other one this black ink color. And then I'm going to decorate them a little bit too. So they'll kind of provide little signs as a decoration too. I had a little beach sign. This is the fairy garden decoration from Dollar Tree that I just glued on the little table in between and then put the pumpkin underneath of it or in front. Now for the orange surfboard, we're going to make it look like a jack-o'-lantern. I just used a black Sharpie and drew a very simple little jack-o'-lantern face right on there. And then for the black one, I decided to put bad to the bone on there with a white paint pen. I thought that would be really fun. And then we have our orange and black surfboard, so nice traditional Halloween colors as well. I just glued those to the edge of my little frame back here, so they kind of peek up in the back of my little beach scene when you view it from the front. Here's our little ping pong beach ball. And then we're at the beach, right? So let's add some little tiny seashells from the Dollar Tree to the sand as well. I just try to secure everything with hot glue. It's a little hard to glue to the sand. If you press them down deep enough, though, you can kind of glue them to whatever structure that you were using underneath. And then I'm also going to hot glue our little pumpkin in place right here in front. And our little skeleton day at the beach is complete. How fun is this DIY? I had so much fun putting this together. I've had a lot of you guys recreate this DIY, which I love seeing all of your different versions. If you do, be sure to post it in our Facebook group. I'd love to see it. I displayed it with my little skeleton shark over there that I got at Spirit Halloween. Love it. I wanted to make like a coastal version of like a sea witch. So to start with, for the little body of the witch, I'm just going to use a traffic cone that I got from Dollar Tree. Now mine is rather large. I've noticed in the toy aisle, like at my Dollar Tree, they do have a smaller version of this. So you could make like maybe more of a medium version of this too. This one actually came from like the hardware aisle at my Dollar Tree. And so I thought it would be great for like the gown of a sea witch. So that's what we're going to use for the base. It's going to give our whole little witch some structure. But first it was bright orange, so I just painted it with a coat of white just to make it not stand out when I cover it with burlap. Now you can use whatever kind of burlap you have. I have this like burlap 6-inch roll that I had from Walmart. And so I don't really want it to have finished edges. So I'm just going to cut it into strips and try to form a gown out of it. I did use a little twine to try to attach it here at the top. And I'm just going to keep going over it with strips until I have like a long flowing gown for like a sea witch. Now Dollar Tree has burlap now like in the rolls. And you can always buy it in bulk pretty inexpensively, like at Walmart and other stores. Pretty much any way you can get some burlap, it's going to give you the same effect. But I think the burlap is great if you want to do like the coastal feel. So I like crisscrossed and then I'm going diagonal, crisscrossing again, just because I kind of wanted enough to cover like the entire body, have it like all look like it's flowing down. And so I just used twine to tie all of mine on. And then I'm also going to do some twine just around the body, tying it up a little bit just to give it a little bit more shape. And I do that along the bottom of the traffic cone too. And then start to cut like a circular shape around the bottom. So that is her initial body. Now it's time. We needed a like sea witch head, and they have these little witches from the Dollar Tree. They're like little hangings. So they have like the little green witch's face or head. And there's also like metal attached arms to it. So I thought I would leave the arms on there and I could use that for part of the structure. It's just got to find a way to attach the little sea witch head to my traffic cone. Now, I thought that it would be easier and maybe a little stronger if I attached the plastic to plastic. So I did cut my burlap out. So I actually had the plastic showing through here in the top. Don't know if that made it any stronger, but it seems to have held up. So I just do some hot glue on the top of my traffic cone and then sit my little witch head right on top. And like the arms are attached with just a piece of metal. They're flexible. They kind of have foam on them. I'm going to kind of leave that as is, but fold them down towards the side. Now I am going to do a cloak like over the shoulders of the sea witch, but I want the front part of her gown to look nice. And my burlap had a lot of seams and stuff like that. So I just take another piece and I'm basically just going to attach that to the front part of our little sea witch. So just a little hot glue along the base of the neck back here, and that'll make the burlap look nice and flowing there in the front. But for like the shoulders and stuff like that, I want to do somewhat of a cloak. And I wanted to use some of this creepy cloth like to be involved in it too. But right now, I think it might need a little bit more burlap. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start the cloak with the burlap just by cutting more strips. And I am just going to glue that right on top, like have it come together right in the front, kind of like a cloak would be, but kind of having it drape over like the little arm and stuff like that, just because I felt like I needed a little bit more burlap before I start adding like the creepy cloth, because you might be able to see like the foam and stuff through there. So I kind of fold it back here to kind of give it like a cloak appearance there on the front. And then I'm just going to do another piece here on the other side the same exact way, gluing it along the base of the neck and then making it a little longer so that I can just glue it back a little bit to kind of give it that fun look. And then I'm going to attach that to each one of the little witch arms. That witch is kind of like scary looking like that without any hair or anything, isn't she? Just so it'll kind of stay in place. And this is a pretty durable DIY. Sometimes I use this inside, sometimes I use it outside, but she's nice and creepy. Now, for the rest of the cloak, I wanted to use the creepy cloth. So this is the ivory. They have it ivory and black. I chose ivory because it kind of reminded me a little bit of fishing net. And I just wrapped that over our little witch shoulders like that, attaching it with a little hot glue here so it does stay in place, and wrapping that around, gluing it in the front too so it will stay on the little witch's shoulders. And it's really cool because you can see like the burlap through it. And then I'm also going to hot glue it here to that front strip that we did just to kind of keep everything in place and laying the way that I want it to. Now I didn't cut that or anything. I kind of left it all one piece. And so now I'm going to cut off like the excess material, leaving a little extra to kind of like drape on the ground. And can you kind of see like that kind of like fishing net? I thought that would give it kind of like a little bit of a coastal vibe with the creepy cloth. And just to like make it a little bit thicker, I'm just going to go ahead and use some of the excess fabric that I had and kind of drape that over the witch's shoulders too. Maybe doing like a little bit of a second layer here just to make it a little bit thicker. Now our little sea witch is going to need some hair, so I'm going to use one of these grass skirts from the Dollar Tree. I try to buy these all the time. I buy them, I mean, a lot of times they don't sell out of them, so a lot of times they still have them in my stores. And so I use them all the time for coastal crafting especially. I thought this would make a nice creepy witch hair, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and leave it on the string, cut off enough that's going to go around the witch's head here. She definitely needs some hair. I know it's kind of hard to see right now because she's kind of a large project, so it's kind of hard to get her at angle. Here we go. I just tied it like in a little ring, like a little halo here to go around her head with an opening in the front for the little sea witch face. And then it's just a matter of attaching that to it. I want to go ahead and cut it too, though, just because it was really long. She doesn't need that long of hair. So I just put it on like a ring. I think that looks way better. And then I'm going to go in with hot glue and just glue that to the top of her head. Now, I'm not worried about her having like, you know, super cool hair or anything like that because she's going to have a witch hat. For the witch hat, I picked up one of these little tinsel witch hats from the Dollar Tree. And let's give it a little bit of a coastal makeover first by removing all of this messy tinsel. It does come apart and it leaves you with the perfect size cage for a witch hat for this size. So I want to replace all of that crazy tinsel with just some Dollar Tree rope. I chose like the thinner brown rope from Dollar Tree, but it doesn't matter. You could probably use either one. But you get this great plastic cage underneath of it. And I'm just going to start on the tip of the little witch hat, attaching it with some hot glue and wrapping that around. This gave me a great texture. So like the cloak, you know, of the sea witch is burlap with like that creepy cloth, like fishnet. And then the little hat will be covered in rope. And we can do a few other coastal touches as well to make her look like a sea witch instead of just a regular witch. But if you don't want to do the coastal like version, this would look really good regardless. I think the rope on here looks way better than the Dollar Tree tinsel for sure. Now, when I get to the base of it, I go all the way around. I want to kind of cover all of the plastic that you might see. If I were just going to display that little witch hat like that for a display piece, I think that would be good. But since that it's going to be on her head, you might be able to see underneath the brim. So I decided to add a little bit more rope on this side of it too, just to make it look more finished. So same thing, I just kind of start at the opening and then just hot glue the rope around until it meets up with the rope from above. And I think that looks pretty good. So now it's just a matter of putting that like on our little witch's head. I want to make sure it stays in place and doesn't fall off. So I just line the inside with hot glue and slip that right over her head. And that also helps to glue on the little witch hair. Now, every witch needs a broom, right? And I found one of the little cinnamon, like little brooms from the Dollar Tree, but it needed a stick. So I'm just taking a Dollar Tree dowel and staining it with some antique wax by Waverly to kind of give it more medium stain, and then trimming it down to size. And we're just going to attach that to this little cinnamon broom that we got from the Dollar Tree. Now, Dollar Tree does have some brooms as well, but they didn't really have any that I liked. So I decided to kind of create my own here. I just hot glue the dowel on the end of that little cinnamon broom, and it's great because it smells nice too for fall. Now for the seam to make it a little bit stronger, I decided to hot glue just twine going around, and that's going to help keep it together to make sure that this little broom doesn't fall apart. Now she is standing up, right? So I'm just going to kind of take the little broom and put it next to her like she's holding it. But I think that this is going to be a pretty good scale for her. So I just did a couple rows of the twine until I felt like it was really good and secure, and then trim off the excess. Now, a few coastal touches to give her that sea witch look. I'm decided to kind of put that in her hand, like kind of where her arm comes out to her side. So I decided to glue it just so it'll kind of stay there along the side of our little witch. And then I thought we should decorate the hat with some coastal touches, like a little seashell that I found on the beach. And then I thought like one of the Dollar Tree starfishes would be a nice, fun beach touch as well. It's a little big for her hat though, so I'm going to put that down below. I also took a Dollar Tree button and just kind of put that at the top of her cloak. I thought that'd be a nice little touch. And then I just attached the starfish down here along the base with a little hot glue, kind of in like that creepy cloth stuff to decorate the other side of our sea witch. And she is almost ready. I thought her face looked a little plastic, and so I'm just going to go over it with a couple coats of matte Mod Podge just to kind of make her look maybe not so much like plastic, maybe more of a matte ceramic look is what I wanted to go with her, and I think that helped a little bit. But here she is, a little sea witch. I displayed her with a pumpkin that I just covered with Dollar Tree sand. Super fun DIY as well. But there she is in all of her glory. I think she looks nice and creepy, a little bit coastal, but super fun for Halloween. Okay, the next DIY, we're going to do a welcome sign, but it's not going to be like it is right now. So you just need a long sign. Doesn't matter which one. I had this long fall sign, and I'm going to show you a really fun way to make a coastal Halloween sign. Now, I'm going to make my own chalk paint. I'll try to find the recipe to this. I found this in a blog. You can use this calcium carbonate. I get it on Amazon, and you can mix the calcium carbonate powder with water and acrylic paint to DIY your own chalk paint. And it's way cheaper, and I love to save money with crafting. So I'm going to do that to give me a nice Caribbean blue color to cover our sign to make a fun background. Now, again, this Dollar Tree sign had glitter on it, so I'm just going to use some contact paper just to cover the back to make it look more finished. Definitely make the glitter part the back of the sign. If you had a plain long sign from the Dollar Tree, it would work even better. So that's just a great way to deal with the back of those signs when they're glittery like that. And I will have to redo the hanger too, since I'm going to have this now be the front. And then just to cut off the contact paper, just take a sanding block from the Dollar Tree. It's going to give you a perfect cut around the edges if you do need to reuse a Dollar Tree sign that already has something on it like this. Now we're going to test out that great chalk paint that we made. And it does a great job. It's a nice bright blue, Caribbean blue color. And I want to do a welcome sign on this. But I also want it to be like a Halloween welcome sign. So it's a really fun take on it. And this is for my entryway. So I'm going to hang stuff from this too. So it's going to actually end up being kind of a longer sign too, and even a little bit more coastal. Trying to deal with the bowing in the sign. Sometimes Dollar Tree signs, not too flat, especially when you're painting them, but we're going to see if we can make do. I think it looks pretty good. Now for the letters, I thought we could spell out the word welcome with the Dollar Tree plastic bones. Now some of them will have to be cut down a little bit, but basically just with the straight bones, we can spell out the word welcome like that. I'm just going to cut off like the knuckle joint, I guess, on the end of those when I need to kind of make them go together, where they only kind of have like one joint. in each place to kind of make the little side pieces, I guess, of the letters a little bit shorter and make them all fit. Now, these bones are kind of a tan color. They're not what I would call like a typical skeleton color. I don't know why Dollar Tree makes their bone colors like that color, but they often do. So I'm just going to make some more chalk paint by mixing some white acrylic with the calcium carbonate and water. And we are going to paint all of our bones before we attach them that ivory color. And I'm glad I did because it did make a nicer contrast against the blue sign. And they do look, I think, more like bones when they're painted the ivory color and not that brownish tan color that was on there. So I really only have to paint one side of them because that's basically all you're going to be able to see. But I did use a brush to get down on the sides too. And now it's just a matter of putting together all of the letters. You're going to want to keep your spacing tight. I had kind of mapped it all out before, so I know that they will fit. And I'm just putting hot glue on the tan backs where there isn't any paint on the back of those, and then gluing them down and spelling out the word welcome. I guess you could do any kind of word with this. You could do like a Halloween word, like haunted or something like that too. That would be really cute. But I thought this would be a really creative way to do a fun little welcome sign for my entryway. I have like a lot of skeleton animals that I like to decorate my entryway with. And I think that this bone theme is going to look really cute with that. Now I want to frame it out to make it look a little bit more substantial and give it a little bit more of a coastal touch. So once I get all my bones attached, I just framed it out with some Dollar Tree white rope. This is the thicker one. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to go around all four sides with that. It's going to kind of make your sign look a little bit thicker if you're working with a thin sign like this from the Dollar Tree. If you have like a thrift flip sign or something thicker, that would be even better because you could kind of do this on anything. But I just wanted to kind of show you on Dollar Tree if I could. So I'm going to replace the hanger since we had to take it off the other side. And I just used hot glue to attach twine to the back. And then I used a little bit of burlap to help make that a little bit stronger. Now I told you we were going to add to this, and I'm going to use a fishing net from the Dollar Tree to kind of drape under it so that I can put like some skeleton animals and things hanging in it to kind of add to it. So I just glue that net onto the back of the sign too with a little bit of burlap helping to glue that down. And I kind of want it like, at a diagonal pattern. You don't want like your fishing net hanging too perfectly. And these are actually pretty big. So I'm going to kind of cut it down to size, double it up here to make it a little bit stronger, and attaching that to the other side as well until we have like a little triangular shape of net hanging down. Now, these are the little animals that we're going to add to it. The Dollar Tree skeleton mermaid, the Dollar Tree skeleton seahorse to go with my coastal feel. And again, I don't really like the color on these, so I'm going to paint those with that ivory chalk paint that we mixed up to make them look a little bit better. And then I thought it'd be really fun to hang those in that net below the welcome sign. So I'm going to do the same thing with the skeleton mermaid from the Dollar Tree and give it a coat of the ivory chalk paint all over too. And I already had another one of the little skeleton seahorses from the Dollar Tree that I'd already painted ivory. So I'm going to have a couple of those, I think, mixed together with my little skeleton mermaid. I also add like a skeleton bat, I think, too, because I thought I needed a little bit more. But I'm going to distress these all with a little Antique Wax by Waverly once I get them painted ivory, just to kind of make them look a little bit older and a little bit more character. Now, so I have two of the seahorses. I just painted the eyes of all the skeletons with a black to kind of make them look a little bit better. And then I thought we could use like a little Halloween word as well, one of the little galvanized metal words, because I have this whole fishing net to fill up the wall. And then I thought a Dollar Tree bat would be cute too. Again, they're that tan color. So I just gave the bat a coat of the ivory chalk paint all over. And then we can hang all these creatures in that sign underneath the welcome sign to decorate my wall and my entryway for Halloween. I give him a few darker eyes too for a little contrast. And this is how it turned out, our little bone welcome sign with mermaid skeletons, a beware sign. We've got our little seahorses. And then I thought it'd be really fun to hang like a bat upside down here at the bottom. Super fun for a coastal Halloween. Okay, the next DIY, we are going to remake another tinsel item from Dollar Tree. This is the giant spider. So of course, we're going to remove all the tinsel on this little guy, and I'm going to show you how you can make a really cool rope spider. A lot of you guys thought that this spider turns out looking like a mummy, which can make it a mummy spider, which I love that idea too. I think that's really fun. So it's just a matter of removing all of the tinsel, and you get left with this great cage that you can kind of make anything out of. The rope that I'm going to use for this is the white rope from Dollar Tree, the nautical rope. It's the thicker white rope. And we're going to start here with the body, and then we can start on the legs. I'm going to do like a spiral pattern starting in the middle and just wrapping around in a curly Q until we have a circle for the body of our spider. So easy. All I'm doing is hot gluing it down to the little different plastic pieces of the cage and kind of gluing it to itself too, just so there's a nice tight seam and you can't see between the different ropes. And I'm going to do that until I get all the way over to where like it overlaps the little spider legs. And then we can go ahead and cut that piece down. Now for the this part of it, I kind of needed a smaller rope. So I'm actually unwinding the larger rope from the Dollar Tree into 3 separate little ropes. And it's going to give me a smaller rope to work with for this part because we're going to start on the legs. I thought the wider rope would be too thick and bulky to go around these little tiny skinny legs like this. And so this is what I ended up doing, and it worked out great for this. And of course the rope's going to, match the same color. I don't have to worry about switching like to a different size of rope. Also, like the macrame rope they have at the Dollar Tree now would work really well for the legs too if you did not want to unwind your rope, but it definitely worked well for this. I just hot glue it to the plastic cage and then wrap all 8 of our little spider legs. 8 legs is a lot, so we're going to speed this way up, but you get the idea. I just start with hot glue in the middle and wrap that around, hot gluing it from time to time to the cage to make sure it's nice and tight on there. And I'm actually going to make this spider like a wall hanging. So I'm going to actually have it hanging on a web of rope too. So it turned out so fun and cute. Last leg, we got them all wrapped. And now we just have to worry about like the little head of the spider here, if you will. So I'm going to use that same unwound rope. I have lots of it to do the head. And that worked well for that too. I cut off the little pinchers at the end. I didn't think they're really important to the design of the spider and just wrapped that circular shape like that with the thinner rope. Now I loved it, but I didn't like the unfinished underbody because it's going to be a wall hanging. And so I decided to do some of my extra pieces of rope I had there just to cover the inside of it, just to finish it off. Now for the web, I just take one of those unwound pieces of rope into the thirds, and I'm just going to tie a little loop here at the end to make a hanger, and then we can make it look like he's hanging from a spider web. You can kind of do it either way. I chose to do mine here with like the head up, but it could work the other way too. I don't think it really matters. And I just glue that to the underside of our spider web, just like that. And this was so fun to make. It's a little time consuming to do a rope DIY from the Dollar Tree, but look how cute this turned out. It definitely does kind of look like a mummy spider, but it goes great with coastal decor, and it's nice and creepy for Halloween. I think it turned out really beautiful. You would never know that was a tinsel spider to begin with. Okay, the next DIY, I found this little ghost sign at the Dollar Tree, and I thought we could give it a fun coastal makeover as well. Of course, it's covered in Dollar Tree glitter, just to kind of cover up the glitter and finish off the back of the sign, because that's going to be the back. I just used some Dollar Tree vinyl, shelf liner, and covered that up. It's not going to be perfect for that shape, but I like the shape of the sign. I think it's nice and ornate. Now it's just a matter of painting it. I wanted to do a beachy blue, so I'm using Caribbean blue paint to go all over the back of this to give us a fun blue background for the ghost sign. I am going over the unfinished back of the Dollar Tree sign, which is not necessarily wood, so it is going to take a couple coats to give me a nice blue background. But I thought we could use the little ghost cutout that was on there before and maybe add a word to it to do a fun little blue and white ghost sign. It turned out really cute. So it definitely needed a second coat, and now we can start decorating the little ghost that was on there. I thought we would just use the back on that as well. It's going to make it, kind of our own thing instead of using what they had designed on there. And so I'm just trying to clean up all the adhesive on the back, and then we're just going to paint that ivory with some ivory acrylic. I wanted to add like a boo word to it too, and so I'm going to use a Dollar Tree wood boo sign to decorate the sign as well, and some other coastal touches. I wanted to look distressed, so I also distressed it to try to give it like a slight distressed wood feel with some antique wax by Waverly and a baby wipe, going back and distressing with the original ivory to make sure it's not too dark. And then I also wanted to distress the blue sign with ivory to give it that coastal farmhouse feel that I love. Blending that all in with a baby wipe until I love how it turns out. Then I decided which boo sign I was going to use. I'm going to use this one from the Dollar Tree. I think it works perfect with a ghost sign. We're just going to paint that ivory as well. And then I'm going to want to kind of do a little bit of a distress on that as well. So I do Antique Wax by Waverly on the boo word as well. And then just draw some little eyes on. I went back and forth on my eyes on that ghost. I drew them on with a brown marker. Then I thought that they were too dark, so I distressed them. But then I go back and draw them back on there. So I couldn't really decide what I wanted to do with that ghost. But I did want him to kind of look old and distressed like that. And you can see that the boo sign is made out of wood, and so it actually painted and distressed a little bit better than this piece did, but we're going to make it work. So I did the ghost right here at the bottom of the sign, and then we're just going to glue the boo word right on top. That's going to leave us lots of room on both sides of the sign to decorate it a little bit more. And this is me playing with that ghost again, distressing it. I drew the eyes back on, as you can see. And then I thought I could just use seashells for my stash to decorate the sides. The colors are going to be perfect, the whites and the tans. And I just hot glue those on the sides. I wanted a variety of different kinds of seashells and sizes, but I wanted to fill the whole sign up. And this is how it turned out, my little coastal boo ghost sign. I love the colors. The blue, white, brown effect is a little bit softer beachy tone than the blue, white, black, but I think he turned out really cool, and the ghost is super sweet. All right, let's thrift flip this sign. I wanted a little kind of solid wood sign, and I got this really cute sign at the Dollar Tree. It's perfect for what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a little boxy skeleton sign to display with these really cute skeletons that I found at the Dollar Tree. Now I kind of have to mask everything that was on there. It was like a teacher sign. So I just went over it with ivory until I kind of have a blank canvas, and I want to do a really fun hand-painted sign. When I do a coastal sign, you guys know I love a blue sign with white painting on it. I think it looks so beachy and fun. So that's what we're going to do for this little skeleton sign. So I'm going to start by painting all the sides and then the top. This agave chalk paint by Waverly. Any kind of a light blue color I think is going to be really pretty. Then I used some stencil vinyl. I get that stuff on Amazon to create some stencils to make a hand-painted sign. I found this image on Cricut Design Space. I think I had to simplify it a little bit because it had a lot of pieces here. Sorry if I'm blocking the shot there with my head. I'm trying to see all those little pieces. The little Cricut Bright Pad works great for that. I've seen that the Dollar Tree, I think, pluses have maybe a $5 version of this. The Bright Pad, that'd be really great. It really helps you see, especially if you have old eyes, have trouble seeing to weed these out. But I did the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, because that is the little skeletons that I found from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to combine that with the word evil, which I didn't cut on the right setting, so it kind of weeded itself for me, but it's still going to work. I use my paper transfer paper. I also get that on Amazon, both of the stencil vinyl and the paper transfer paper. I always have it linked in my Amazon shop below. I love it. You can use this paper, this transfer paper, on a freshly painted sign like that without getting any paint damage. Love that about it. And I'm going to do evil on the top and then the little skeletons on the bottom. I thought that'd be really fun. And I'll try to find the font I used for that. I don't think I saved this design on Cricut when I made this, because I don't think I really knew how to save it at the time. But it was an existing image on Cricut Design Space if you have the membership. Going to use some painter's tape to tape that down so I don't get any paint where I don't want it. And then I'm just going to use a stencil dauber from the Dollar Tree and some ivory chalk paint to paint this on. I love a hand-painted sign. One of my favorite uses for my Cricut. I wanted a Cricut forever and I didn't have one. I got one for Christmas a couple of years ago for my husband and son for Christmas. It was the only thing I wanted, and I'm so glad I got it. I love it. I wish I would have got one a long time ago. So just going to remove all of the painter's tape and my stencils to reveal this great image. And then since the skeletons had so many little pieces, I do have to go in and weed all the little stencil vinyl out. But I did actually simplify that image a little bit to make it a little bit easier. I'm just going to touch up here and there wherever I think it needs it, but otherwise I want it to look rustic, right? So these are the skeletons that I found at the Dollar Tree that I wanted to make a sign to display with them. I think they're perfect together, and how fun. I'm just going to use like a little riser from the Target dollar spot to raise that up, and then we can like display the little skeletons right in front. I love like a ivory distress, so that's what I'm going to do on the hand-painted sign. Just go over it with blue and with ivory just to kind of make it look a little bit more coastal farmhouse. And it really turned out really high-end, I think. I love it. I love how I have the little skeletons to match. Look how cute that turned out. So fun. I love those skeletons. Now, I'm sorry about the lighting on this DIY. I want to redo another little tinsel ghost. I don't know. This was old software that kind of corrupted this video file, but the DIY is cute, so I still wanted to show it to you, even though it's super flashy. I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to remove the tinsel for this one. I'm just going to mask it. And I had some like ivory colored felt left over from another DIY that I thought we could just kind of cover the top part of the tinsel. That way I wouldn't have to remove it. I could just kind of mask it a little bit. Only like the top of the arms and the head I really want to cover up because I want to drape some of the Dollar Tree creepy cloth on top of that to make a little ghost that kind of looks like one of those like little suspended ghosts, if you will. So I just kind of make kind of like a little hat for my little tinsel ghost and just hot gluing that to each other, just kind of masking the tinsel. I guess you could always remove the tinsel if you wanted to, but if I didn't need to, I wasn't going to do it. I hate the flashing lights. So sorry about that. There was no way to fix that, but I didn't want to lose this footage because this DIY turned out really cute. So this is the creepy cloth. I am just going to kind of quadruple it up to make it thicker and just lay that on top of the ghost, trying to get that ghost shape. Then I can just go around and trim off the excess cloth until I kind of get a fun shape for a ghost. So I just drape it over, trimming it down around the sides, also trimming it like along the sides of the body. And then I can just kind of wrap that around, hot gluing that to the tinsel underneath. That's going to be all hidden behind all that creepy cloth to kind of give it a little bit of a shape. So hopefully you can still kind of see what I'm doing on this. I just wanted to have that ghost shape that we had before, and then we can decorate it a little bit. I'm going to use some of the little plastic round stickers from the Dollar Tree for little eyes. I just painted those black. And then I have some black felt that we can use to make a cute little ghost mouth for this. And then we're going to add another little coastal touch to it as well. So I'm just going to use hot glue to attach our little eyes. I just wanted a simple 2 eyes, a little like screaming ghost mouth there right in front. And then to kind of like give it a little bit more shape and to frame it out, I'm just using some of the thinner brown Dollar Tree rope to kind of outline that, give it another little bit of a coastal feel. It's kind of cool without it, but I kind of liked the touch of adding the rope to it. And I just kind of draped that along the arms there, just cutting down a piece and hot gluing it along the shoulders and the head of the ghost. And then I'm going to come down and also do the sides. Also, I'm going to bring that rope around and kind of frame out the bottom of it too. It just gave it a little bit more shape, even though I kind of want the arms to be like all droopy like a sheet on a ghost. So this side, and then just kind of using that cage for my reference to go along the bottom. And I think it just added another little fun touch by framing it out with the Dollar Tree rope and another little coastal touch. You could always add a seashell or two if you wanted to give it a more coastal touch, but I think the creepy cloth and the rope kind of makes it look cool. It's going to go great with my decor. And again, sorry about that flashing light. I've done so many things to try to fix that video and it just doesn't happen. But I still wanted to show it to you because I think this ghost is really cute and I wanted to kind of give you an idea of how I put it together. No tinsel removed in that process, but you totally can't tell that's a tinsel ghost underneath there.
But I love it. Another easy little ghost Dollar Tree DIY. Hey guys, you've made it all the way to the final reveal for all 20 of the Coastal Halloween Dollar Tree DIYs. Be sure to let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments below. I always love reading all of your comments. And enjoy the final reveal. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of my video. That helps so much. I also want to thank all of my Crafty Beach Fun members. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Nancy Wunner, Janae Farrington, Julie Miller, Pamelia Wren, Maria Grace, Donna Schreiner, Live Another Day, Tracy Wooldridge, Maren Christensen, Debbie Middleton, Adrian Brolt, Deborah Caldwell, Red Mama, Tammy Muir, and Donna Tanner. Thank all of you for supporting my channel. It really does help. If you would like to become a Crafty Beach Fun member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. You're going to get early ad-free access to my content here on YouTube, and you're free to cancel at any time. It's $4.99 a month. Would you like more Halloween DIYs? Be sure to check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting!